so much. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 25th Denim Day. Not only Denim Day in LA, but Denim Day in USA and Denim Day Global. I'm glad you are all here, and we are represented by the leadership of our city and our county, and we're so pleased to have this representation on such an important day. It was in 1999, and a news story out of Italy caught my eye on CNN. It told the story of Italian female parliamentarians wearing jeans to protest the Supreme Court justice overturning a lower court's rape conviction. The reason he gave was because the 18-year-old girl was wearing tight jeans and they could not be removed without her help, therefore implying consent. The Roman female parliamentarians were furious. They called it the jeans alibi. California lawmakers took action and wore jeans on the steps of the state capitol in Sacramento in solidarity with the Roman legislators. That is what inspired me and our staff to organize the first Denim Day ballpark not far from here. Today, those same steps in Sacramento, there is a rally and a press conference just like ours. In New York, there's a march across the Brooklyn Bridge for Denim Day New York, and it's happening at universities and colleges everywhere. Over the last 25 years, Denim Day has reached over 100 million individuals. People in all 50 states and in over 100 countries have worn jeans on purposes. Corporations, businesses, colleges, the military, women in prison and in detention facilities, entire cities and states have declared Denim Days. This campaign, along with other movement organizing, has empowered victim survivors, created allies, influenced legislation, and gave voice to those who had been silenced. Our goal has been to encourage people to wear jeans with purpose, to support survivors, educate ourselves and others, and to challenge rape culture and misogynistic victim blaming. Changes have been made over the last 25 years. We have influenced the rise of legal reform and legislative action to increase services for protection for survivors. We have exposed and cleared rape kit backlogs all over the country. Access to technology has helped survivors share their stories, seek services, and report crimes if they so choose. Denim Day has created space for more conversations about sexual violence. We have seen the rise of #MeToo, the upheaval in the entertainment and sports industries. The court victories of E. Jean Carroll would not have been possible without these movements and efforts, including Denim Day, for survivors' truths to be told and to be believed. Right. That is worthy of an applause. There was a woman who was assaulted 30 years ago, accused the President of the United States, and she won in civil court. That has never happened before. More youth are having conversations about building healthy relationships, setting boundaries, and prioritizing consent. Increased awareness has exposed the depth and breadth of sexual violence in our country and around the world. Rape is now acknowledged as a weapon of war. Rape and intimate partner violence can impact everyone in every community. With better data, we now know that communities of color, BIPOC, LGBTQ, migrants, people with disabilities, incarcerated persons are disproportionately impacted and vulnerable. The trauma from intimate partner violence is a root cause to so many social harms, like homelessness, gun violence, mass shootings, mental illness, substance abuse, and more. To truly end sexual violence, we must connect the dots with other violences and social issues and recognize the urgency of this intersectionality. Denim Day is a vibrant opportunity to focus on including all survivors, their families and communities, and support the growing efforts for equity, justice, and a safer world. But today I must address something urgent facing us. We're now under threat of reducing the capacity to provide services to survivors through pending cutbacks from the Federal Victim of Crime Act funding, VOCA. VOCA funding that goes to every state for victim services is being cut by 50%. In California, that means 500 agencies that serve sexual assault, domestic violence, child abuse, stalking, and trafficking will be drastically impacted. Survivors will not be able to receive services, and trauma will be left unattended with long-term consequences. That's why all of our voices need to be heard, and we need to speak loudly as survivors and as allies to make sure that funding is replenished to maintain the network of services we have built over 5 decades. It's taken 5 decades to get to where we are today, and that is about to be decimated. You don't think that's a good idea, do you? No! And thank goodness we have people who have influence up here with us who can help us make that change. We must save VOCA, and we must fund victim services, and it must be a priority. We have to say no to cutbacks to victim services. What do we have to say? No! What do we have to say? No! We must fund these services. What do we want to do? Fund victim services. This is so critical. This is so critical. And in Sacramento, with the electeds there, we're having the same conversation. To our leadership today, we need your voices, your clout, and your wisdom to make sure that in LA County and the state of California, we continue to provide these critical services to survivors of interpersonal violence. Our Denim Day theme this year is Sexual Violence Ends with All of Us. So many of you here know survivors. If you know a survivor, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you know a survivor. It might be you. Raise your hand. If you're an advocate and an ally, and you may also be a survivor, you may have a family member who's been impacted, raise your hands.
Yeah,
well,
everybody.
We have an army right here, folks. We have an army of allies right here. So the theme this year is Sexual Violence Ends with All of Us. We've made progress, and we brought these issues out of the shadows, and the stories of trauma and healing and resiliency are finally being heard. We have survivors who are going to be up here speaking to you in a few minutes. We still have so far yet to go. We must continue to work together and support each other. Sexual violence will end through the efforts of all of us. So it is my honor to introduce someone who is a long-term ally, champion, spokesperson on these issues, representing the 3rd District and the President of the Board of Supervisors. Please welcome Lindsey Horvath, who is also a supporter of Denim Day and POV's sexual violence prevention efforts.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. I know we're all proud to be standing here with Patti Giggans and everyone at Peace Over Violence.
Yeah.
Today is Denim Day, and we are standing here in solidarity to let everyone know there is no excuse.
That's right.
Say it with me. There is no excuse. There is no excuse.
There is no excuse.
There is no excuse for sexual violence. Period. It is not what you wear. It is not where you were. It is not what time of night you were out. It is not what you said. It is not what you did. It is only the fault of the perpetrator. It is never the fault of the victim. And that's why we uplift them as survivors, because we must stand in solidarity and let them know they are not alone. Today, we stand in solidarity because this court decision that happened in Italy had ripple effects all over the world, and we felt it. To hear that a woman could be seen as complicit in her assault because of what she was wearing is absolutely unacceptable and has no place in our society or anywhere. That is why we gather here today. And unfortunately, we have to keep telling this story because, as you heard from Patti, genius people out there think that now is the time that we should be cutting funding for VOCA. No! Cutting the funding that we need to support our victims. to support our survivors, to support the people who have been victimized by violence, who have been victimized by crime, the people who have been perpetrated against. That is who is being attacked by these cuts. They're being attacked all over again by these cuts, and we cannot stand for it. That is the action we must take today. While we show up this morning wearing jeans, while we show up wearing denim and standing in solidarity, the action we must take is ensuring that that funding continues. And we will provide that funding in Los Angeles County for these services because we know that that is essential. Intimate partner violence, gender-based violence is a key priority during my term as chair, and our all-women Board of Supervisors stands united to make sure that this remains a priority. But let's remember, this is not a women's issue. This is not a gender issue. This is an issue of crime. This is an issue of violence. It impacts everyone, and everyone has a responsibility to do something about it. What did we say? There is no excuse.
There is no excuse.
There is no excuse. And we have to keep reminding people there is no excuse. There is nothing that people do that justifies that kind of behavior. We must stand united. We must support the arrest and prosecution, as our district attorney has done, to make sure that we are prosecuting these perpetrators of violence and to make sure that they are brought to justice. That is what our society demands. And somebody who believes in that wholeheartedly, who has committed her career to that, is my wonderful colleague, the one and only Supervisor Hilda Solis.
Wow, let's give it up for my chairwoman on the LA County Board of Supervisors, Lindsey Horvath. And if you weren't rocked by that, I'm sure you were aspiring to be like that, right? Aspiration, that's her middle name. I love her, she's been great, but I also want to thank our Executive Director for Peace Over Violence, Patti Giggans. Woohoo! A longtime friend, many años. We're here in solidarity, unidos, hermanos y hermanas, comadres, compadres, abuelitas. We are here because we have been victims.
Yes.
And we know what it is. We can testify to anyone, and we know that that violence has to stop. So we're here because we know sexual violence is a public health issue. Let's not forget that. And we know that it can impact so many people generationally, as well as those individuals who are right now on Skid Row, many women who are homeless, that are being victimized right now by sexual violence, by some of our women who are incarcerated. Some of our children who are in probation camps are also being assaulted. We know that has to stop. And we have to have the right law enforcement people and tools to be able to do all the right things to help us, to help survivors, to help their families. And we've been doing it at the Board of Supervisors. We put money into more funding for CBOs like POV and others to do just that and to reach our communities that speak different languages. And I'm talking about not just Latino and Spanish, but the AAPI and all the other ethnic groups that need that help. We have to come out and not be ashamed. You know, today is a day of calling, and I'm going to repeat this as well. We're calling out for peace over violence. Peace over violence. Education over violence. Education over violence. Empathy over violence.
Empathy over violence.
Accountability over violence. And that's why today, Denim Day, is so important for all of us. Because it means having services that are going to be available through POV and other agencies that are really doing the hard work. The county can't do it all. The city can't do it all. All we can do is entrust our friends, our neighbors, and you to speak up and help us to be that fighting force. I'm happy that today I'm going to be presenting a little gift to Peace Over Violence because they're going to be starting an effort that they have already begun to undertake. And it's called Youth Over Violence Program. And it's going to provide services to our young people who recently arrived as immigrants from wherever, okay? From wherever. And for those young people that are unaccompanied. We also know that this program through POV is nationally recognized. It is known In Touch with Teens. Say it. In Touch with Teens. They're going to be providing curriculum in Spanish and adapted to the experience for our youth, for especially those newly arrivals that are here. Because I'm hearing it, I get calls from people all the time about assistance that is needed in all parts of the county of Los Angeles, and we're ready to do that. So today I want to present a small token of our appreciation from the 1st District, and I want to present this check for $50,000 for this program. Board members.
Oh, please don't stand there. I can't see the interpreter.
Am I in your way too?
Any young people, the youth?
Sorry.
Thank you so much. My board was very happy to take that.
Thank you so much. This is such an important gift for us to keep our program and to be able to pay attention to the very specific needs of young people coming into our county. So moving now to some, not that we're not all authentic voices, we are all authentic voices, everyone that's here. But we want to introduce Ayesha Iqbal Perry, who is an authentic voice. She is an advocate and she is a survivor, and she is going to grace this park with her words of wisdom. Please come up.
I'm gonna move the mic up because you're so little. I'm just gonna stand like normal. Hi everyone. Wow, Denim Day, 25 years. That is so incredible. The endurance and strength it takes to keep pushing for 25 years is remarkable. So shout out to all of the people that have been involved in this movement, and obviously shout out to Patti and Peace Over Violence for starting this movement and pushing for endless change. You know, when I really thought about this, I was like, wow, as much as this is empowering and it's full of strength and endurance, I'm like, it's so exhausting at the same time. And when I heard about Denim Day, I went and looked up the story about the girl in Italy, and I was like, wow, this happened in 1999, and a girl was told that she was not able to get justice because she had obviously helped her attacker and take her jeans off. And I really wanted that to feel like that story was 25 years ago. And then I realized, like, wow, every 68 seconds, this story is happening to someone in the United States.
Yes.
It's happening right now, as we've all been speaking. Someone is being sexually assaulted. Like, you just have to take that in. That's insane. And that's without thinking about all of those people across the world that this also happens to. I am a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. And as a working person in the fashion and entertainment industry, I have experienced sexual assault in the workplace and also in my intimate partner relationships. It's really hard as a survivor to come to terms with the fact that you've experienced rape. It can look different for every person, and the experience is different for every person. But the one common theme for me was that it felt like men felt comfortable to have the right to my body. They felt comfortable assaulting me whenever it was convenient for them, no matter what I was wearing, no matter where I was, because they felt there was no consequence. I have never spoken up about the influential men in the industry who have violated me, and I've never even realized that waking up to my partner already having sex with me was something I didn't have to accept. Because I was never told that rape can happen with people you trust the most, people you're supposed to feel safe with,
Right.
people who are supposed to have your best interest. I was told that it will just be an angry stranger on the street who'll just grab you and assault you. Coming to terms with that fact, you realize that you're actually not safe anywhere or with anyone, and that was a really hard pill to swallow. 99% of perpetrators are male. The blame should not be on the victim for what they're wearing, it should be on the male for not having self-control and regulation of their emotions.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
The blame should also be on society for allowing men to commit these disgusting acts without any consequences or judgment from society. Victims should not be blamed for their experience and should have safe spaces to come forward and speak. They should also deserve healing in their communities and safe spaces in society. As much as I have loved coming here and wearing denim, standing up for change and being surrounded by like-minded people, I hope that in 25 years from now, there's no need for Denim Day. Because there'll be safety in our communities, there will be consent, and the act of committing sexual violence causes unbearable shame and embarrassment, not the act of surviving it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayesha. Please, another round of applause. That was very powerful. Thank you so much for being here. It's my pleasure to introduce somebody who can do some parts of the accountability when it comes to these issues. Our District Attorney, Los Angeles County, George Gascon.
Hope you can see this up there. Thank you, Patti. You know, I want to thank Patti and Peace Over Violence for the many years of leadership in this area. But I think it's important to recognize that social change never just happens. Right? It was a young woman in 1999 in Italy that stood up and said, just because I was wearing jeans, it was not an invitation to be raped.
Exactly.
And Patti Giggans has stood up over and over for decades to ensure that women and girls are protected in our community. I want to thank the members of our all-women Supervisors Board who are incredibly courageous. Some of them are standing here today with us. But I want to direct my message today to men, to fathers, to sons, to brothers, to those of us that wear jeans and never think that that could be a reason to get assaulted. Because it takes men to address this issue. This is not a women's issue. This is a men's issue.
That's right.
Let's think about it again. This is a men's issue. I'm talking to you guys that are here with me today. If we are not courageous enough to understand that culturally we have been in the wrong side of history over and over again, this problem will never go away. Putting the blame on the victims, and I know that there are men that can get sexually assaulted. I recognize that. But we know that the majority of the victims of sexual assault are women, and the majority of those that do the assaulting are men. Social change is never an accident. It occurs when good people come together with courage and the willingness to take the arrows, wherever the arrows come from, to stand up for what is right.
That's right.
Even if there is a personal cost to that. So today, I'm here to tell you that I am fully committed to hopefully reaching Ayesha's dream of 25 years from today, not having to have this conversation. But in order for that to happen, us guys, we have to raise our sons differently.
Yes.
We have to talk to our brothers.
That's right.
We have to talk to our co-workers. And above all, we must recognize that this is not a women's problem. This is a man's problem. And we have to admit it, we have to stand up for it, and we have to confront other guys, because no should always be no. No is not maybe, no is not perhaps, no is no, right?
No, it's
And
no.
it begins by telling our young boys, and frankly our young girls too, but our young boys to understand there's nothing sexy about not accepting a no, and understand the social norms that should be shifted to clearly understand consent. So thank you, Patti. Thank you, Peace Over Violence, and thank you, those incredible women that are here today. Know that you're not alone. There are many of us out there that will fight for you. I'm a father of 2 young girls and 2 granddaughters now. I'm very proud of being here standing with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to just give a shout out to the POV staff and team who've been putting these events on year after year. Please raise your hand, Darcy. Raise your hand. Where are you all? My staff is here. The advocates are here. Our counselors are here.
Yeah.
Our clinicians are here. And also our partners in the rape crisis movement are here. We have East LA Women's Center. We have Santa Monica UCLA Rape Treatment Center. None of us can do what we do alone, and as we continue to collaborate, we welcome more collaboration and support, and we welcome men joining this movement.
Yes.
Now I'd like to introduce another man who's on the right side of history, and this person is Antonio Villaraigosa. He's the 41st mayor of Los Angeles, but Antonio was the first mayor to declare a Denim Day in any city, and he did
That's
it right
right.
here in Los Angeles.
Right.
He declared Denim Day in Los Angeles many years ago, and we continue on. Here he comes.
And yes, Mr. Gascon, I'm one of the women standing behind you. It's great to be here with you. Thank you, Patti, for your leadership. Thank you for all the work you've done over the decades to make this organization a safety net for women and victims of violence. In addition to being the mayor, the first mayor in the country to declare Denim Day LA's Day, I was a legislator, Speaker of the Assembly, that led women and men legislators out when we read that story about the woman that was raped by a taxi cab driver back in 1999. And we did because we knew, as you said very well, District Attorney Gascon, this isn't a woman's issue, this is a man's issue. And so I'm going to say again to the men inside there, as I did last year, it's time to come out with your sisters and be here and stand up against domestic and sexual violence.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I dramatically expanded the domestic abuse response teams, which go out with police officers when there are victims of domestic violence, and we have some officers who are here today who work from the county, work in that area. Thank you for the work that you do. It's not just the person abused that's a victim of violence, whether it's domestic or sexual, it's the people who saw it. And I grew up in a home of domestic violence. I saw my mother beaten. I saw her pulled by her hair from the kitchen to the living room. I saw her beat up. And when you see that and you're 5 years old, you always remember it. You always remember what happened to your mom. And you know what you think about? I wasn't there to help her. I wasn't there to defend her. And so to all the victims who are here today, stand up with your mom. Stand up with your sister. Stand up with the women who are being victimized every single day. 2 women were brutally raped in Venice. That has to stop. We have to stand up to that violence. And as you said, again, District Attorney Gascon, we got to teach our young men to respect our women. That's why I like the song, Keep Your Head Up. We can't raise a race of babies that hate the ladies. We got to invest in our boys and invest in our girls. We got to speak out against the violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Algunas palabras en español, porque puedo. La verdad es que estamos aquí con Peace Over Violence, paz sobre la violencia, porque queremos decir que ya basta con la violencia doméstica y sexual, que el hombre tiene que estar en solidaridad con la mujer en contra de esa violencia. Gracias.
Sí se puede.
Yeah, I need to see her.
Thank you so much, Antonio. You're such a great ambassador. Now I would like to bring up another authentic voice for us today, among all the authentic voices. We're so privileged to have Rita Garcia speaking with us, a survivor, and she is from TransLatin Coalition. Please come up. TransLatin Coalition is in the house.
Saludos mi gente! Good morning everyone, my name is Rita Garcia and I am proud to be an Afro-Latina trans woman and survivor of sexual violence. I stand here before you as a living example of what opportunity and resilience looks like. And let me tell you that sexual violence, it could be ended with all of us working together.
Yes.
Today, I am the manager of the violence prevention programs at the TransLatin Coalition, one of the largest trans-led organizations in the United States. And I firsthand see the impact of resources on people like myself that are survivors of sexual violence. As we come together as a Denim Day, we acknowledge the harsh reality that sexual violence often intersects in our identity and our experiences. For many of us, transgender, gender non-conforming, intersex, and non-binary community, our impact of sexual violence be compounded by stigma, discrimination, and systemic barriers. Denim Day serves as a compelling reminder that victim blame and harmful attitude has no place in our society. By wearing denim today, we stand in solidarity with survivors and reaffirming our commitment combating sexual violence in all its forms. We must continue raising awareness, educate others, and advocate for change. Our voice matters, and our action can make a difference. Let us support survivors, challenge harmful narrative, and work towards creating a culture of consent and respect.
Yes.
Together we could create a world where everyone feels safe, valued, and empowered.
Yeah.
Let us continue our collaborative effort, strategizing to enhance our capacity, educate our community, and unite in solidarity, because sexual violence ends with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita. Very powerful. And we have powerful people here.
Yes.
And we are now going to hear from our city council members. First person I want to introduce from the Council District 1 is Eunisses Hernandez.
Hi everybody, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning.
Nah, my people, we are here in solidarity standing with survivors. How are you doing today?
Good.
I love to hear it. Good morning. My name is Eunisses Hernandez. I represent the 1st District. What an honor it is to be able to join you all today. I want to start by saying thank you to Peace Over Violence and Patti Giggans for your leadership and your work to create a world free from violence and harm. I also want to thank my colleagues and friends from the Board of Supervisors who are here today, Supervisor Lindsey Horvath and Supervisor Hilda Solis, who both have been mentors to me and champions that, I hope one day I could help, fill those big shoes that they have, because they are fearless, they are brave, and I just am so inspired by them. I'm a survivor of sexual violence. It happened to me my freshman year of college by someone I knew since middle school, and I share that story because being in this position, it's a position that has a bully pulpit. And oftentimes survivors, it's wild to me that there could be one person that could harm many people in a circle, but we don't talk about it. And I'm trying to talk about it as much as possible so that others hopefully can also have the bravery to talk about it, because that's how we prevent more harm and violence happening in our circles. I'm honored to be here today standing in solidarity with so many survivors and allies to honor the 25th anniversary of Denim Day. What this day to me, what it means to me is empowerment. Because when sexual violence happens, when rape happens, sexual assault happens, it's oftentimes, yes, it's men perpetrating 99% of the time, but it's a power dynamic. You can never be too drunk. You can never your clothes can never be too tight. Those are not excuses for you to be assaulted. Yet it often happens. And so I want us to hopefully what we get out of this space today, and what I'm trying to get out of it today, is that there's power in numbers. There's a lot of us, and we should feel empowered to also get the tools to fight back. When someone is trying to take action on you, we've been engaging with Peace Over Violence and training ourselves on how to fight, on how to self-defend, and how to hammer, our way out of situations, because it's important that you feel empowered to get out of those situations, because they do happen. And so for me, that's what I'm trying to take out from today, and what I'm trying to uplift from today is that you get empowered and empower yourself with the different tools that you need. And because I am a survivor of sexual violence, I've dedicated my entire career to trying to prevent harm and violence from happening in the first place. Because the systems that currently exist are the systems that existed when I was assaulted, and it didn't prevent the harm and violence, it just responded to it. I was still traumatized. People in my circle were still impacted by this individual as well, and we don't do enough to prevent harm and violence.
That's right.
And so that's why I've worked towards doing that, because it's not enough just to respond to it. And that's why I keep uplifting a Care First agenda that will help us prevent this harm and violence from happening in the first place. We know that violence is preventable, and I'm grateful to be here today with all of us as we rededicate ourselves to be here for another 25 years working together to create a world free from violence, sexual assault, and all forms of harm. But again, like Rita said, it's going to take all of us to eradicate this. And I know some people might think, wow, getting rid of this in 25 years? The way that we do that is by empowering ourselves, by talking about it, by working together. And I know that the work that Peace Over Violence is doing is making that happen, because look around you. Look at this large group of people that I hope will then take this message into your circle. So stay empowered, take some self-defense classes that Peace Over Violence offers, and push back in however you think is the most powerful way for you to do that. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a power city council circle behind me. I want to introduce Heather Hutt, LA City Council member for District 10.
Hey.
Thank you, Patti. Thank you for having us all here today to remind each other how important your lives are. I too, like my colleague, Eunisses Hernandez from District 1, is a survivor. But I'm a survivor as a teenager, and we didn't have these kind of resources.
That's true.
We couldn't even tell our mothers because we were in fear. And my message today is, do not be in fear. There are resources for you. Remember, no means no, and somebody will back you up. I want to say trust your gut, because if it doesn't feel right, guess what? It's not right. And you need to trust that when you feel it, when your spider senses are up. I need you to remind yourself you need to go a different way if you can. If you cannot, fight like hell to protect yourself. Because that's what's important, that you have to protect the inner and the outer. Because you live with this as a survivor. And you get reminded often about that experience. Even though I was a young girl, and even though we didn't have resources, you have to build yourself up after an experience like that. And I want you to know that we are all here, my colleagues from the city, my colleagues from the county, as well as Peace Over Violence. We are here to support you and all the other organizations. Utilize them. Don't be afraid. And I want to thank you so much for having me here today. Last year was my first year actually outwardly admitting that I am a survivor, that I had the experience. And that was tearful for me, Patti, if you remember. But I feel strong today because there are other women that need to know that you can get support, you can get past this. No means no, and it's not okay, ever, to anyone, man, woman, child. It's not okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce City Council member from District 11, Tracy Park.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Park, Councilwoman from the West Side, the 11th District. I want to take a moment to thank Patti and all of the board members, the volunteers, and all of the partners at Peace Over Violence for the incredible work that they have done year after year to combat sexual violence. I also want to take a moment to personally acknowledge and thank and support and stand with all of the victims and survivors of sexual violence and sexual assault. I see you, I hear you, and I will do everything in my power to fight for you. I also want to take a moment and specifically acknowledge the bravery and the leadership of Councilwoman Eunisses Hernandez and Councilwoman Heather Hutt for their courage in sharing their personal stories. They are living reminders of what a powerful, successful survivor looks and is in Los Angeles. This morning I am here in good company with my colleagues, shoulder to shoulder, united and unwavering in our support for Denim Day and its vital mission to raise awareness and to combat sexual violence. Denim Day serves as a poignant reminder that violence against women is intolerable, not just within the bounds of Los Angeles, but around the globe. As we commemorate the 25th anniversary of Denim Day, we reaffirm our steadfast commitment to standing with survivors, advocating for justice, and fostering a culture of consent and respect. The recent assaults in the Venice canals on April 6th struck deeply at the core of Council District 11 and reverberated across all of Los Angeles. No woman, no visitor, no family should ever feel unsafe navigating the streets of Los Angeles. In confronting these challenges, I am reminded once again that I stand in good company alongside law enforcement, our community partners, and all of you here as we work tirelessly to improve safety for women and everyone against violence in Los Angeles. These events serve as a stark reminder of the importance of movements like Denim Day, which actively challenge harmful attitudes and behaviors that perpetuate sexual violence. Together, with the unwavering support of you all, we truly can make a meaningful difference in the lives of survivors and advance our collective efforts to build safer communities. Sexual violence ends with all of us. Thank you so much, and it is now my privilege and honor to turn the microphone over to my friend, my mentor, and an inspiration for many of us, and a woman who is a fierce champion for victims and women's generally, our city attorney, Heidi Feldstein-Soto.
Thank you, Councilmember Park. Thank you to Patti for organizing this. Thank you to all the speakers before me. I am Heidi Feldstein-Soto. It's been 25 years since Peace Over Violence started, but I am 65 years old. And this is not a new problem, and it did not start 25 years ago. 25 years starts the progress, as far as I am concerned. But I think it was Ayesha who said that she ran into men entitled to her body. That's how I grew up. To my fellow Borinqueña, Rita, very glad that you are here, but I grew up in a culture where you walk down the street and it was commonplace to hear, "Mira mamita," okay, as a young girl. I grew up in a culture where date rape was some way to just dismiss the worst kind of violence, because if you knew the perpetrator, somehow as a victim you had to have done something to invite the violence. Denim Day has reached over 100 million people globally over the past 25 years. Let that sink in. The impact of this work on our understanding, on our laws, and on how we show up for survivors is immeasurable. It isn't just a question of the federal funds and VOCA. I want to thank the supervisors who are here for putting their money where their mouth is, for walking the walk and talking the talk every time I see them. Thank you, supervisors, and to our county. I want to thank our district attorney for showing up and talking about how this is a men's problem. Because it is. When 99% of the perpetrators are men, and a vast majority of the survivors, I don't like the word victim that much, but survivors are women, then it is a men's problem. I want to thank our forward-thinking former Mayor Villaraigosa for having the courage to stand up years ago and for continuing to show up, okay, every time we are here as an ally, as a friend, as someone who uplifts our voices. Sexual violence, I want to focus on that for 1 second as I close. The operative word is not sex. It is not sexy. It is not a question of teaching our men to control their hormones, I think. It's a question of teaching our men not to express the need for power over others. It is not about sex. It is about violence. It is about control. It is about power. It is a public health issue. It is a public safety issue. It is a public welfare issue. It is a public issue. And I am here to tell you that as the chief prosecutor of the city of Los Angeles, I will not take this lightly. Sexual violence, domestic violence is something my office will take very seriously in our name, in your name, and for the good of us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, lots of spirit and words of wisdom and long-time experience. You know, some of you have signs. What do those signs say? Hold up those signs. I'm an ally. I'm an upstander. And victim blaming. An ally. This is not an invitation to rape me. Fund VOCA. I want to take a tiny minute off the program because I want to introduce someone who has been an ally. She's an activist. She's an artist. She's a spokesperson for Denim Day for us for many years. Maya Jupiter.
Oh my God!
Come up here.
Maya's here! Wow!
This is Maya Jupiter.
Maya's here!
Her other half is Aloe Black. Maya has written songs for our movement, and she's hosted our events, but I have to apologize to Maya because I've been having this in my car
For a year.
several months. This proclamation from the city, from our mayor, Caramel, and I've got to get out of my car and give it to you. Yay! So I want to, we're going to move into self-defense. I hope you can stay for a couple of minutes to do the self-defense. But I do want to give a shout out to our Board of Supervisors. One more time. To Hilda and Lindsey, because what's going to be happening, something's going to be happening that they are supporting, that they are funding. There's going to be a Los Angeles Commission on Sexual Assault Coalition. It's called LACSAC. I've been waiting to have this form for 20 years, and it's happening, and it's going to be housed at the Department of Public Health in the Office of Violence. We have an Office of Violence Prevention in our county, in our Public Health Department. So I just wanted to shout out that this is going to bring law enforcement, the coroner, the district attorney, the city attorney, all of the rape crisis centers, all the advocates, survivors, bringing them together to really focus on tackling, making sure that we end sexual violence in our county, in our state. So thank you so much. Now I want to introduce Yvette Lozano, who is our Chief Operating and Chief Program Officer and Master Self-Defense, Empowerment Self-Defense Instructor. She's going to teach you some skills. All right, hello, good morning, activists. Good morning, activists. Good morning, advocates. Survivors. Peace over violence. When I say we are, you say peace over violence. We are peace over violence. We are peace over violence. My name's Yvette Lozano. I am a self-defense instructor. We're going to do a quick demonstration on how to be safe, how to prevent sexual violence, how to reduce the risk of being a victim. I'm going to have my co-instructor, Floyd, join me. I want you, peace over violence self-defense instructors, raise your hand. I need you to help me up. Peggy, Clarissa, Joy, Emily, Jasmine. We will be demonstrating simple, basic techniques on how to prevent becoming a victim. Number one, awareness. Follow your intuition. Something's not right, doesn't feel good, follow your intuition. That will help us be alert and possibly assess the risk that we're going to be into, right? Right. Then, once you follow your intuition, assert yourselves, set boundaries, speak up, use your voice, educate others, educate them on how you want to be treated now and in the future, right? Right. We will not tolerate violence against women, right? Right. All right, here we go. Person comes up, grabs your hand. What are my choices here? I have my first weapon, my voice. Use your voice. Element of surprise. Let go. Right? Did I do anything? No physical harm to this person. Element of surprise, let go. But what if this person does not listen, right? I then could release. We're not going to go into that. I'm just going to go ahead. If I didn't have this mic in my hand, I could use the mic as a weapon of opportunity as well and smack them with it. All right. I could simply push away and push him back. This is my fighting stance. Everyone, fighting stance. Simple. Fighting stance. This kind of gives a message that something's not okay. We're ready for counterattack. If that person persists, comes at you, what do I have next? My weapons of my body. Those are the weapons that you have. Your hand, your fingers. I'm going to target vulnerable targets. Eyes, nose, throat, growing, crotch, whatever you want to call it, and knee. Right? Now, we're going to hammer. Action! Everyone, fighting stance. Let's hammer to the nose. When I say hit, you all say hammer. Hit! Hammer! Hit! Hammer! Hit! Hammer! Good hammer. Fighting stance. That didn't work, right? You might have missed. We have to commit to that. You gotta hit. Imagine you're hitting the back of the head. Let's do a strike. Come at me, Floyd. Strike. Let's do strike. Ready? Palm of your hand. We're gonna strike to the nose. Ready? When I say hit, you say strike. Hit. Strike. Hit. Strike. Hit. Strike. There we go. Floyd comes from behind, tries to grab me. What do? Look at my target. Back fist. Back fist to the groin. That's Peggy's favorite. Ready? We love that back fist. Look at your target. Make a fist. We're going to hit the groin. Ready? When I say hit, you say back fist. Ready? Hit. Back fist. Hit. Back fist. Hit. Back fist. Your voice is your weapon. Your voice is your weapon. When I say you could use your voice, we could say no, we could say stop, but your voice will attract attention, helps you keep calm, fight, flight, freeze, react. Ready? When I say yell, you're all gonna say no. Ready? It's coming from right here. Ready? Yell! No! Yell! No! Yell! No! Very good. Who are we? Come on now, who are we? Are we here to support survivors? Yeah! Do we want vocal cuts to be, our funds to be cut? No! What are we gonna do? Fight! What are we gonna do? Fight! What are we gonna do? Fight! Ready, let's combine our techniques. What do we do? When I say hammer, fighting stance. Ready? Hammer! Yell it, hammer! Hammer! Strike! Strike! Hammer! Hammer! Strike! Strike! Let's do a punch to the throat. Ready? Punch to the throat. Hit! Punch! Punch! Hit! Punch! Hit! Punch! Hammer! Hammer! Strike! Strike! Who are we? Peace over violence! Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time. Actually, I think we have one scheduled next week in the that Yvette sent me a message asked me if I could join in the instructor training. I think it's mid-May.
Good job.
So check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, I did see that. It's a course that you can take, right? To become an instructor.
Absolutely. You should come and sign up and take it. Check with Yvette. You too, if you're interested in becoming a self-defense instructor. That sounds fun. It is. I think they require that you do a couple of classes a month for a while, a year. You pay for it, but it's a free training. You just join in. Come. I don't think so. I don't think there's a cost if you agree to do something. Check it out with Yvette, because, but there didn't used to be a cost for it. No. I know there's not. Yes, I do remember you passed out. I can hug you? Yes, please.
Great, I'm going to finish this live. She's going to say goodbye.